Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a sunny day, 7 degrees Celsius. I'm exactly on the border between Austria and Hungary. I'm driving east. As you can see, the sun is right in my face, but hey, after a long winter, I absolutely appreciate that. So today, I'm going to work with the Hungarian national team again. We are doing kind of a pre-selection for the selection for Paris for the heavyweight men's double. But before I'm there, we're going to meet at MT Cup Budapest, a club that, at least for me, the name rings a bell. I still have 178 kilometers to go through beautiful Hungary.
Elkészülni! Right! Indítottam én is közben.
So this was selection race number one. And the interesting thing is that essentially most of the lead was taken on the first 500-600 meters. That's it. So over the middle 1000s, the leading boat didn't gain much. It gained a bit, but the big chunk of the 9 seconds they had over the other double was pretty much gained the first, I would say the first 600-700 meters, realistically speaking. There was always a bit more they pulled away, but not that much. And the interesting thing was that the stroke rate difference was significant. We're talking about a 30-31 versus a 36-37. And that's not nothing, if you ask me. So the question is what to make of that. Why is it that one double is slower than the other one in terms of technique? Well, you could say good in the leading double. You had one guy with a linear erg time of 550 and a linear erg time of 556 or so. And in the second place double, you had one with a 556 and one with a 604. So, well, that tells everything. The thing is that your linear erg can be cheated to a certain degree, and you can have a pretty bad technique or inefficient technique for the boat on a linear erg and still be quick. So yes, it does give you something in terms of possible outcome scenarios, but there's no guarantee. And in this video analysis right now, I'm trying to look at the differences in terms of technique because they are significant, as I consider them to be. Let's look at the second place boat. And this is in a phase where it was so strong. So this is Gere here in Bao. I'm going to link his YouTube channel. He's got a few single scull videos, and I think his technique is really good. If you want to look at somebody doing good single sculling, he's the one to look at. He's not the best in the world, but nobody's the best in the world. But he's one of the few I recommend. Just look at him. Just look at that. Try to imitate and then grow him there. Now, Christoph, the guy in stroke, these are big guys. Gary appears to be small, but he's not. I mean, he's 88 kilos, and I don't know how tall he is. He does a 604. He's not one of these tiny. He's a strong dude, but the other three are just big guys. 95 kilos, 100 kilos, I don't know. It reminds me a bit of the golden Hungarian double scull days of Tibor Pete and Akos Hala. And I think Hungary is onto something with that boat class. Look at them row. So overall, you see it looks together. If you just look at blade work, it is okay. It looks together. The blades go in too deep at the catch. Now, there's too much emphasis on a vertical placement. And that's always a big issue if you can't have sufficient blade control. Let me show you what I mean. All right, so this thing here prevents you from going too deep. What it does is that this is your blade, and every time you set the blade, like here, what happens is that the moment the blade drops in the water and goes back up, you can try it out. Any position, let the blade drop. That much, a full blade height clearance of the water, let it drop. Some coaches say, well, just drop the blade into the catch. No, because if you do this, what happens, the blade goes down, bounces back up, down, boom, boom. It's not an endless process, but it certainly takes time. And at the catch, there's not much time. Everybody talks about a quick catch, a quick catch, a quick catch. Okay, then leave out all the extra stuff. So what you need is a process that's if that's the water level, you want to place your blade like this, in, hold, done, end of discussion, we're done. There's no more down and a bit up and down. So every time you do this, water slips over the bottom and over the top. And that's one of the greatest issues we have with efficiency in rowing at the catch. This is why we gear so hard. We don't need such a hard gearing. We don't need riggers that are extra direct. What we need is something that prevents the blade from going too deep. So that you put it in the water, it just sits there. There's no up and down, no slip. It's a direct connection. This is when you put one of these Randall foils on top. Randall foils is here. It essentially is like a block. So this is the water level. Put it in, boom, holds there. You immediately can start to build up a horizontal resistance. That's what we need. No play. And that's the issue they have here at the catch. If you look at them, here, the blades go too deep. And both of them. Naturally so. But why is this happening? Why are the blades going too deep at the catch? I talked about this at length in one of the previous videos. I'm going to link it in the description. It's about pelvic control, and it's about shoulder control. Shoulder mostly through the latissimus dorsi, because it stretches all the way into the back. It's the main connector. If you're too soft here, not prepared, what happens is that your shoulders will go up. And the second thing is that you are probably not prepared well enough in your pelvis, so your low back is too round. It's not the case with both of these athletes. So Bauman doesn't have that issue. If you look at him, just go a couple strokes further, you see it here. Here at the catch, this guy's perfectly connected. That's all you could wish for. But stroke guy isn't. And that's the biggest downfall. So you've got one athlete who's physically not quite as strong as the other ones, but his technique on the water is over proportionally good. I think he's got the best technique of all four of them. But he needs some time to become faster. And you got a stroke guy who's very strong in the erg, but he's got a linear erg only technique, and he needs to work on the low back. On a linear erg, a low back will get the job done. Pop goes to disc and other fun games, I'm being sarcastic here, may happen. Because this is going to cause a lot of stress on your spine, because you create a lot of load. Essentially, you squeeze out the discs. And if you just look at this from a physiotherapy point of view, I mean, it's good business, but I'm being sarcastic again here. But from a health point of view, this is not what you want. I mean, he's got strong legs. Most rowers focus on legs. I was in the same shoes. I was taught you need strong legs. Legs is everything. And how many coaches scream at the catch, legs! I got legs. I know they're mounted here. They stay here permanently. I know I've got legs. What should I do? Push hard. All right, if you push hard with the legs, what's going to happen is that your back is going to be overwhelmed because you can't hold it. The two weak spots are everything around the hip joint, the pelvis, and everything around the shoulder. So the shoulder doesn't go too high and your low back doesn't become too round, and both is the case with this stroke guy. It's that simple. The thing is that this works actually quite well in a linear because you don't have that perpendicular load that you would have in a boat on a bio rower. This is why being fast on a bio rower is something different than being fast on a linear erg. It translates significantly more to the water, and if you've got back issues, bio is pretty much the only thing you can use. It was developed for that. And Christoph, unfortunately, is in that situation. So his shoulder goes way too high. At the same time, he doesn't have full control over his blade levels here at the catch. And this is where I think they just need too long to connect. Because even if Bao Guy has the connection quicker at the catch, It doesn't pay for the very simple reason that he has the boat alone at the catch. That's also one of the downfalls. If you're effective, you do have a quick connection. The quick connection means blade doesn't go too deep. You control this better. They both don't have randle foils. So there is that slip and process at the catch, which takes a while, but they do it at different quality levels. And if you are able just to minimize it a bit, you have a quicker catch, so to say, than people who have that. They may have a hard catch, but they're not direct. And then you have the entire boat for yourself, or to yourself, whatever you want to call it. And that is going to cause significant amount of load on the entire system at a phase where the boat is in a very fragile state, because you're going from free float to locking in the water and trying to propel it, which is not so comfortable if you do this alone. An interesting effect in a double feels rigged too hard until you start to have the same force curves. So if you're on a bar rower and you see your force curves and you match your force curves on land, then you hop in the boat, it's the same handwriting. You've done your homework when nobody else was able to row. You've done your job on a bar row. Okay, but if you don't have this, it's a lot of guesswork. And if you then move from the linear erg into the boat and you have to guess what the force curve could be, well, it looked like this 2 hours ago because I did it, I did analysis in the boat. That's not going to help. And this is the issue they've got. A lot of potential, but it's individual body positions. If I had to choose a body position, say, well, bowman is it? Awesome, very good. Got the issues with the catch. That could be solved with the randle foils. And he's got the issue that he doesn't have the same force curves as stroke guy. This could be solved with a bi rower. But other than that, excellent. And stroke guy, very strong. Good idea of how to do it, but shoulders go way too high. There's not enough shoulder control. So if I were doing his training planning, I would suggest a lot of work on the lat, a lot of mobilization work, a lot of low back work, and a lot of pelvic mobility. So I would write down exercises for this, and I probably would restructure the training plan in a way where I say, okay, less time on the erg and more time on an indoor bike. An indoor bike is a great alternative if you have a back that is prone to have an injury soon. So it's something like this. This is what I typically put on training plans. And this is when athletes recover very quickly. They don't lose any endurance capacity. You can work on strength and you can reset the muscle memory. So you get 3 positives going for you. And if you do this, that's gonna be a quick turnaround. Okay, let's do some more analysis here. If you see them row, this is where you see the boat stops at the catch. And you also see him working. That's too much motion and too little boat motion. Too much body motion, too little boat motion. Okay, let's look at the lead. First of all, you see the stroke rate was significantly higher. The question is why? Well, you could say you're physically stronger. Yeah, that's true. On the other hand side, it's a big plus if you can match your force curve. This is the distance they had. That's quite significant. So if you can match the force curves, you don't have to work alone and you don't spend so much energy on trying to pull the boat alone, and your lactate doesn't build up as quickly. That's a very important thing to understand. So if we just do a detailed analysis, and that's already mid-race, this is when lactate build up. You can see their facial expressions. It's not like a walk in the park. What happens at the catch? Oh, blades go in too deep. Mostly with bow guy. Stroke guy is actually quite controlled. That's good work. It's not perfect, but it's good work. Yeah, blade goes in too deep here. Okay, that's the classic. Look at shoulders. His shoulders are good. Low back, that's an injury source. If you have an extra bend here in your back, it doesn't mean your back has to be super straight, but it means it has to be stable so it can transfer force in a very direct way. And that's not the case with him here. Okay, now during the drive, different body angles. So stroke guys, Martin's back here is stable, but bow guy's back is not. So they don't use the full upper body swing together. Wow, it's not the same. And you see, the stroke guy is able to Remain upright, upper abs out, not chest out, upper abs out. That changes everything. And Bao Guy is in that hold position and he needs to pull, he needs to engage his arms earlier, shoulders go up, because there's not enough support here in the low back. The chain is interrupted. And therefore, Bao Guy washes out a bit more, but the blade work has been synchronized to a degree where we say, okay, it looks the same, but the effect is a different one. So I think Stroke Guy has a bit of a longer plateau, while Bao Guy loses connection a bit earlier. Interestingly, I think the combination they didn't like, which was the second one, with the 604 guy and the Stroke Guy here, from a technique point of view, this would be the fastest combo if two things would happen. First of all, they have to spend some time together, and before that, Bao Guy needs to be physically stronger, more raw power. If I had to do his training planning, I would focus significantly on strength. I'd probably work on muscle mass, and I would probably polarize the training plan a bit more. I'm not a fan of, this is the only plan that works for everybody. You need different approaches. For Bao Guy in the slower boat, the one I just analyzed before, I think he's doing maybe a bit too much endurance. Maybe we should reduce that in the mid-ranges around 2, 3, 4 millimole. Maybe do a bit more around the 1 millimole. Maybe not more than 2 hours per day, 1.5 hours per day. If this may sound a lot to you, we're talking about elite level rowing. And significantly work on strength and stability. So maybe it could be up to 92 kilos. That would make him stronger in a single, and then he would probably be on par with Stroke Guy here. And this could make a hell of a double. Not like this double is bad. I wish them all the best, and I will do everything I can to help them. But just from a coach's perspective, if you can play chess, that would be a good bet. Doesn't mean I have personal preferences, because any double that is out there is quick, and I'm happy for them. And this double does a terrific job. But if you just analyze things, it becomes obvious. So this is where we see the differences here. That positioning, that is important. I recently used in one of the Saturday live sessions. No, it was in one of the one-on-one sessions I have with my athletes. I do this quite frequently. If you want to join, it's rmtraining.com. I look at your technique every week. I don't know if this is something you're into, but you will certainly improve. I use the terminology, try to keep your center of gravity in front of the seat. That means you sit in front of the seat for most of the drive, so you can't be in that Harley rider position you have here at the back. You have to be more in that position or have that posture, which requires the pelvis to tilt. And that is a good analogy if you are in the boat and you feel like, okay, my back's too soft. Just think, where's my weight? Where's my weight? Okay, you need to move from the low trunk to be able to control the weight. Overall, the curves match a bit better. Something that helps to match the curves. It's not something I recommend you do, but look at the seat of Bao Guy. He shoots the seat, and that actually creates better force curves. He's got this Michael Jackson move at the catch, where the seat moves in and out and in and out. So is this the most effective combo there is? No, but it's the fastest one we have right now. And so Bao Guy significantly needs to work on his low back, pelvic mobility, and full range of motion strength in order to avoid that. What I was referring to in terms of better curves, if you look at the Olympics, Alan Campbell did this in a single. He actually moved the seat before, he accelerated the seat before the hands and the blades were locked in the water. It's a huge load for the back, and it's not healthy in the long run. But what it does, it creates a bit of a plateau. It's better than the other evil to use the upper body too early. Both of that is not good. But what do you do if your back doesn't have the required mobility? It's an issue. So if you have to quickly solve this issue, it's better to shoot the slides. Did Arm just say shoot the slides? No, I don't recommend this. It is bad. Don't do this at home. It is not dangerous, but not smart. I say work on your pelvic mobility. That's the solution. But if you only have 5 minutes, take the lesser of the two evils. All right, let's move on with how this day unfolded.
So 6:51 to a 7:0 in
Yeah.
headwind.
Yeah, 9 seconds is a decisive difference. Yeah. They were like more efficient with the stroke rate, with the racing
They were.
pace.
They were, because they didn't lose much over the middle 1000 with 6 strokes per minute less. Why?
Because he's gonna go back to Ireland.
Who?
Bachkai, the blue vest guy.
Ah,
This is why we needed to do the testing now, because this is the only week he is here. I'm not very happy I had to leave my group from the training camp.
makes sense.
Yeah.
So that everybody understands what's going on. So Attila and I are in the boat here, and we just had the first 2K. So the team doctors here essentially did lactate testing. They measure oxygen intake during the race, and now they're going to switch combos. And they do this to understand the perceived exertion and no, actually the total exertion of every athlete during each trial. Okay, so we just completed the first trial. So we've got 2 more coming up.
50 minutes between the two starts.
Okay. So the idea is to find the
Fastest combination.
fastest combo. So it's a pre-selection for the selection
Yeah.
for the final qualification.
Yeah, for the European Championships, yeah. And if they produce well, then World Championships. This is one of a few. I'm gonna select 4 boats: men's single, women's single, men's double, and men's pair
Yeah.
for the Worlds. I don't see the next combinations yet. It's open, so anybody else can prove themselves. But these are the project boats pre-selected for the Worlds.
Okay. So the first race they're going to attend is not the World Cup.
The first World Cup in Zagreb. This is
Yeah.
just a preparation for the Europeans. So
Okay.
it's a test that they don't really need to do. I'm happy if they do a good result, but what counts is the European Championship.
Yeah.
And also, in the perspective, we're gonna build a boat for next year. Even if they qualify, of course, but if they don't, we're gonna build them more
For the final
for the
qualification.
final qualification. And we have home European Championship, so I think that's
The final
also-
qualification is going to be in Hungary.
No,
In the
only
dou-
the European qualification.
I know.
For the
Okay.
singles and the lightweight double. If we make one qualification this year at the Worlds, I'm saved. We're saved.
It's quite tricky.
It's tricky, and we still have the options for the singles for the Europeans.
Yeah.
Boats could qualify for the Europeans, but in reality only one, because it's really a rare sight to have 2 boats winning. Like the first 3 singles qualify, but the first one pushes the other one out. So they're in a competition with each other as well. Better ranking has, even if they make qualification spot, the better ranking one gets the qualification. And if we don't make it there or any, we still have Lucerne.
Okay.
So if we don't qualify this boat this year, we still have the option for Lucerne. We need to make them faster, of course, until Lucerne.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay.
Anyway,
So, if I understand it correctly, the European qualification for the men's single and the lightweight double on the men's side
yeah.
is going to be at the European Championship.
Yes, it's a parallel regatta at the same place, same time, not a separate one, like morning session maybe, they qualify afternoon.
But
maybe.
why only for these 2 boats?
It fits the rules. Only men's single and lightweight double, and women's single and lightweight double. It's all continental qualification. It happens in Asia,
Yeah.
America, and Africa,
And
also Europe.
okay, and for everybody else, the qualification is the World Championships the year before, and then
Yeah.
the final qualification regatta
In
next year in
Lucerne.
Lucerne.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is why we promote the singles, because we have singles. The lightweight doubles we still don't have. We're trying to find athletes to bring up to the level that we can send them out.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Physically, the men's division is the strongest. We have more guys under the limit. With the women's division, we only have one under the limit.
Your limit is only 6 minutes.
6 minutes for the
And
men.
you got one at 5:50, one at 5:56.
No, 2 at 5:50. Two guys at 5:50.
That was just the first double we saw.
No, the stroke from the first double is on 5:50. The single we have, Bendeguz, is also, his PB is around 5:50.
Okay. But he's going for the single again.
He's going for the single. They will have a battle at the trials, we will see.
Okay.
And the other two guys are 5:56 and 7. The other combination now we're gonna see. And
the slower double?
fourth guy is just above 6 minutes, and we still have 2 guys on 6 minutes in the pair, and still 123 up and coming who is on 6 minutes dead. So
That's quite strong.
men's division is.
So you got 4 guys under 6.
It's quite strong. Yeah.
One about 6:05, 2 around 6, but they're going for the pair.
Yeah.
But
3 around 6.
Yeah, but the bowman of the slow.
6:03, yeah.
Okay. But the bow guy.
The weakest guy is 6:04, and we have 7 of these. 2, 4.
That's a good.
pair,
That's
6.
a good choice to have.
No, 8. 8 guys under 6:04.
That's strong.
So we should make 2 fast combinations and 1 fast single from this.
Yeah, definitely.
Of course, not anybody will make it, but the internal competition will only boost the ones who make it, I hope.
Makes sense. So apparently there's a bit of concern that there are preferences amongst the athletes, who they would like to roll with and who they would not like to roll with. And when I was here last November, a couple of months ago, my impression was that in the library men's double, actually, this was taking place. So, maybe didn't go quite as hard as possible because it's not the favorite combination. And I think Attila, the team just wants to rule this out. This is why they have quite renowned team doctor here on site. So he does everything to objectify the exertion. So how hard are you really going? It's quite an interesting approach.
So the younger girls are coming better.
So but Janka and Flora
will be pair, but
they're close to 7.
Getting closer, yeah.
Wow, and you got one girl should be sub 7.
I have 1 sub 7 and 1 is a bit above 7.
Yeah.
I think if the paper form works out at the trials, I'm gonna promote 2 singles, 1 for the World Championships and 1 for the University Games.
Mm-hmm. So that combo is interesting. The strong guy in a white shirt does about a 6:04. Didn't make the limit, but he's lighter. He's 88 kilos. His bow guy now is around a 550. He's strong. That's not a combo they want to go for, but we want to see anyway how they're doing. In my humble opinion, I saw some single skull videos of the stroke guy. He's on YouTube too. His technique is superb. It's really good. So I think he could be a good stroke. And that's also the idea we had about the original combo we just saw before. We should switch positions. And I'm not sure about the other double, how they're going to do. For me, it's almost impossible to say.
Really? But you can communicate in a different way than we do. So this will work out in a favorable way. Hope they understand that it's their interest that we're looking for. The fastest combination is also their interest to be in the fastest combination.
The thing is, what you need to understand as an athlete is that you qualify the boat for the Olympics. You don't qualify the people.
Yeah, for the first year, of course. But if somebody qualifies, they will get greater support from the federation
Yeah.
to prepare for the Olympics. It's gonna be harder to beat the one. If they have the right mindset, they will use it to their advantage.
That's something I would say almost unique about Hungary, especially from an Austrian perspective. There's money in the game, so you can actually make money as a rower.
Not much, but definitely there's a scholarship system
Yeah.
that is rewarding results if you have. Even now, if you make better performance, you will get more support in terms of training camp, like dietitian supplements. We try to put a better background for the athletes in preparation for the overall season, for the everyday preparation. Like training camp is one campaign, like you do a 2-week training camp, of course, but the most important factor is what level you prepare every day.
Yeah.
It's that what's gonna count. Like the 2 weeks campaign, you cannot change much. Like you can have a better peak, but it's gonna be decisive what you do and what the quality of your work is.
Yeah. So there are more coaches launches than rowing boats on the water today. Shows you how serious this is.
Right! I'll look up.
Middle of the race is going to be deciding.
Crazy higher than first combination should be the form double.
Yeah, definitely.
It's pretty clear that this is why I like these. If we have a clear faster combination, like I think it was in the second round, it was the wind was stronger, but not by 20 seconds.
No.
It's 20 seconds, over 20 seconds the difference. So. And I saw the expressions, they were doing hard work.
So this is the second race. They were pretty much on par. It was a photo finish at the end, and there was no significant lead. I think the boat closer to us could have been faster if they had gone all out, but they didn't want to do this because they didn't want this combination. But in my humble opinion, it would have given them maybe 2-3 seconds. Nothing to worry about. And technique-wise, they're much more matching. So if you look at the boat far away from us, you see round back, shoulders long, not enough tension. It's the same. Here, both backs pretty stable. They're not synchronized. But the overall idea of which posture to have, that's spot on. It's about the same. But they don't want that, and they're not used to row together. And you see, their way to row is different as well. Stroke guy here is not able to lead the boat physically, and I don't think he gets enough support from bow. This is when you row quickly but not with force, because he has to do the work, which almost makes it impossible for him to get the stroke rate up. So should we blame Baugai of the double closer to us? No, by no means. Everybody's trying their very best to make it to the Olympics and be successful there. And everybody has their own ideas about it. And if you invest everything you have, and you are, I think you have the right to go for the things you want to go for. So I don't blame anybody. Ultimately, all 4 athletes are extremely good. Look at this double right here. You see this? Both of them have a very similar posture, a lack of pelvic mobility. Shoulders are strong but not prepared. There's not enough pre-tension. And this is a big issue when it comes to the drive. See, now they would like to pivot and they have to do the brute force, but he's got a corrupted lever here because there's a huge dent. There's the thing. This is by no means an effective way to row. And also their idea of when to pivot and how intensely to pivot is different. Let's just look at that. One is not using the upper body. Baugai is not using the upper body effectively. And Strokai is using the upper body a lot. And you can see these two are working way harder than the double closer to us. And this becomes apparent now. You see this? Strokai here is working hard, but they're using way more leverage. Way more. I think if these two would do their homework, that would be my favorite combination. Not at the moment though. At the moment, they're not ready. Pretty bumpy, conditions were not good at all. Stiff headwind, uncomfortable to row in. But I gotta say, that body of water, I think it's a 50-kilometer stretch, 50, like this. No ship traffic, just a few boats. It is mind-blowingly great to row. So if you ever want to do a training camp, Budapest is one of the places to be. It is superb in terms of facilities and in terms of just rowing water. This is, yeah, I can't be positive enough about this. The way the race ended is pretty much like it looks here. It was almost a dead heat. So ultimately we decided, well, we have our combination. And that's also how we concluded the day.
It was technically a bit harder, but it's not that serious.
Máskai Szabó, 6:49.9. Második helyet.
So in the end, the results were pretty clear. The first combination is the fastest one. The team doctor said something quite interesting about the lactate. So in the first race, Strokai had around 8 point something 5 minutes after the race, and Baugai was still around a 13.6. This is quite high for 5 minutes after the race. On the second one, on the second combo, the guy who was stroking a faster double in the first race was Bau in the second one, and he had a 6 point something. So you could argue, well, he didn't go as hard. I'm not that sure, because if you only have 8 point something after going flat out, it appears that you don't mobilize lactate as much, or it deteriorates faster in your body. And this is something the doctor pointed out, that there's a difference in lactate mobilization capacities, which could be an indication as to somebody is explosive or endurance athlete.